Hello, I'm Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Dan Laren here once again with the case of the week. We do a number of cases that involve lab work, fingerprints and DNA and trace analysis and CSI type things, but sometimes the police work in our cases is a little more common sense than that. And here today with me is Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Katie Mattingly, who had a case just like that. Katie, did you have a case recently that involved some police work in an area liquor store?
I did. I had a case involving Kevin Durham, and what happened in that case was police were called out to York Street about a man banging on a door and yelling about a woman. And when they got there, they saw a gold Mustang that was parked in the middle of the street in the snow, not running, and Kevin Durham was in the driver's seat and he was trying to use his phone. And he smelled heavily of alcohol, and they noticed a lot of liquor bottles in the back seat. And they got him out of the car, and he was complaining about his feet being cold because he wasn't wearing shoes. So the officer asked if he could look in the trunk for his shoes, and Kevin said sure. When the officer opened the trunk, he saw plexiglass cases that held jewelry. There were watches in there and earrings in there, which made them suspect, due to the large amount of alcohol that he had in his car, as well as the plexiglass cases, that he may have been involved in a burglary somewhere nearby.
So did they need to do fingerprint analysis or overhead photography to locate a nearby burglary in this case?
They did not. They looked around the area, saw that a business had been broken into, and that led them to the security footage of the business. They could see in the security footage that Kevin Durham was, at one point, he broke into the front door with a hammer, and about an hour he left. About an hour later, he came back, and then he went into the business and went in several times and got out approximately 30 bottles of liquor and the jewelry, and then loaded them into his car and didn't make it very far before the police found him.
So how did this case resolve itself in Fayette Circuit Court?
He wound up pleading guilty. He was charged with burglary third, so the minimum was 1 year, but that was enhanced to 5 years by the PFO. So he pled guilty to 5 years, and he wound up being probated for 5 years, and he's in drug court now.
And what was significant about his criminal history?
He had approximately 17 priors, I believe. One was burglary related. Most of them were alcohol related.
And he's now on probation and in drug court in our community.
He is.
Well, that's another case for the property crimes effort that we're making here in the Fayette Circuit Court in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. Unfortunately, this one did not end with the defendant with a criminal history of similar offenses serving any time. He's on probation. But we'll keep an eye on him for you, and we'll be back to report on him again, once again, with the case of the week.